Today, we're jumping into a book called No Rules Rules. It's the inside story of how Netflix built this culture that's, both super famous and kind of controversial. And honestly, it's a culture that seems like it should be impossible.
I mean, just think about it for a second. No vacation policy, no one approving your expenses? You'd think that would just lead to total chaos, right? But somehow, instead of imploding, Netflix became this global powerhouse. So what's really going on here? How'd they pull that off?
Well, that's what the book calls the no rules paradox. And the secret, it turns out, isn't just chaos. It's a culture that's carefully built on three very deliberate ingredients. These work together to create this amazing blend of freedom and responsibility. And we're going to start with the absolute most important one.
Okay, so the entire Netflix system, the whole shebang, it all rests on this one core idea. They call it talent density. And what that really means is that they are absolutely obsessed with hiring and, just as importantly, keeping only the best of the best, or as they like to call them, stunning colleagues.
Now, this whole idea wasn't some brilliant theory they came up with in a boardroom. Nope, it was born out of a total crisis. Back in 2001, when the dot-com bubble burst, Netflix got hit hard. They had to lay off a third of their employees. Reed Hastings, the CEO, was bracing for the worst. He figured morale would just hit rock bottom. But something completely unexpected happened, the exact opposite. With only the top performers left, the entire office suddenly came alive. It was just buzzing with new ideas and energy.
And that right there was the aha moment. That's what led them to this core concept of talent density. It's this belief that when you fill a workplace with truly exceptional, talented people, their combined effect isn't just additive, it's multiplicative. It's like everyone's game gets raised because they're surrounded by other A players.
The big insight here is just how contagious performance is, both the good and the bad. So by making sure every single person on the team is genuinely amazing, you create this incredible environment where everyone is naturally pushing each other to do their best work.
All right, so you've assembled your dream team of superstars. Awesome, but that's really only half the battle. To truly unlock all that collective genius, you need the second key ingredient, the power of candor, or as Netflix calls it, radical honesty. And you know what's wild? The inspiration for this didn't come from some management seminar. It came from a really personal place for Reed Hastings. He actually admits that he used to be terrible with conflict. But then, through marriage counseling, of all things, he learned just how powerful direct, open communication can be. And he literally took that lesson and brought it straight from his personal life into the company culture. Now, to make sure this whole radical honesty thing doesn't just turn into a free-for-all, they don't just say, hey, be honest. They actually have a system for it, a really clear framework called the 4 A's. So when you're giving feedback, it has to aim to assist, and it has to be actionable. And on the flip side, when you're getting the feedback, the guideline is to appreciate it, but then, and this is key, you get to decide whether to accept or discard it. And this is probably the most critical part of making candor work. There is a huge difference between giving helpful, selfless feedback and just, being a jerk. The whole system is designed around positive intent. So those so-called brilliant jerks who tear people down, they don't last at Netflix. Doesn't matter how brilliant they are. So let's recap. You've got a company packed with incredible people, and they're all giving each other direct, helpful feedback constantly. Once you have that in place, something really cool starts to happen. You realize you don't really need all those old, clunky corporate rules anymore. You can actually start getting rid of them. And the very first one to go? The vacation policy. They just shredded it. Their logic was super simple. If we hire amazing people and we judge them on what they accomplish, why on earth are we tracking how many hours they're in the office? It's just pointless. The message was clear. We trust you. Take the time you need to be at your best. Okay, so what was next on the chopping block? The entire travel and expense approval system. All that paperwork, all those layers of getting sign-offs, gone. They just got rid of it. Again, the idea was trust. We trust you to spend the company's money like it's your own. And then, the big one. They went after one of the biggest slowdowns in any big company, getting approval to make a decision. Suddenly, employees were actually empowered to take smart risks, to make big bets, all without having to wait for it to go up and down the chain of command. And you can just imagine how much that sped up innovation. So if there's no big, thick employee handbook full of rules, what is there? Well, it was replaced by this one simple 5-word guideline. Act in Netflix's best interest. That's it. It's all about trusting people to use their brains and their judgment instead of just having them blindly follow a bunch of rigid rules. And all of this, it leads us to the big idea, the ultimate philosophy that ties this whole culture together. And it's really important to get this. The goal isn't to create anarchy. It's about a fundamentally different way of leading. See, at Netflix, a manager's job isn't to control their team, to be the person who says yes or no to everything. Their real job is to provide context, piles and piles of it, to make sure everyone understands the company's goals, the strategy, the challenges, so that the team can then go and make brilliant decisions all by themselves. And that right there, that's the engine. You have high talent density, you have radical candor, and those two things feed into this amazing cycle of trust and responsibility. It's a system that's just built for speed, for innovation, and it all comes down to one really powerful belief. If you treat people like adults, they'll act like adults. Which, of course, leaves us with one last kind of challenging question. This whole thing clearly works for Netflix, but could it work anywhere else? I mean, really think about it. Think about your own workplace. Do you have that high talent density? Do you have that culture of real, honest feedback that you'd need to just toss out the rulebook? It's a really fascinating question to chew on, isn't it?